Hey guys, I hope you're well. So they say that time heals all wounds, but that's not true, and I think a lot of us can attest to that. A lot of us have struggled. Life is the art of suffering well, but sometimes we just can't seem to suffer well. We get pinned with challenges and problem and hate and judgment and society expectations, and it just seems to come on top of one after the other, and sometimes and some years and years and days and minutes, more than ever, and sometimes we get a break. But we never usually get a break long enough. And if we don't learn to suffer well, we fall. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about social media. So on social media, for example, here there is a lot of different facades of social media. So on YouTube, for example, anytime you post in a bikini shot, you'll be considered adult content. So I'm wondering if we should put an R rating on all of the times we go to the beach. And you can be considered porn and soft porn. So every woman or man that I see when I go swimming with my child is then for inappropriate. Doesn't make much sense, does it? But on YouTube, that's how they rate you. They also rate you by your shots that you do on your like introduction to your video. If you don't have the right context of a shot, that can also determine whether you need to be in for a review, even though you make a great post. I talk about this not because the platform of YouTube is a bad thing. It's an amazing thing with amazing content and people, but our untruths in society are making us to judge people more and create more stigmas, and stigmas always hurt people. Just like we've had when the revolution, or finally the black colored people in the States were able to sit on the same bus and mix up with the white people and able to use the same toilet. That should have never occurred. But we had all these untruths, or like women couldn't run marathons. And people had to fight for it. And they didn't even have this social media to be a message to reach millions of people. You know, they had to do it in their cities. And suddenly the news got out and things changed. They went through all adversity to show that I as a woman can now run a marathon. And amazing friends that I have colored skin can finally, you know, have the similar privileges to white, and it's still not perfect in America. It just fathoms me that we have all these untruths and stupid stigmas around. And on Instagram, for example, they can block you suddenly, and so you can't post because someone reported you because they don't like your photos or videos, even if you follow all the guidelines. And then if you aren't an influencer, then Instagram won't get back to you when you report for help, because you're not a number that's high enough to be of transactional value. For some reason in society, unless humans have a big value of numbers, we don't rate. And that's a load of BS. And if we don't have a high number, then we haven't got our life all together. That's a load of BS, because why is Anthony Bourdain, why did he take his life? He traveled the world, he was an amazing chef. He had money, he had experience, he had an incredible job, but life hurt, and he couldn't suffer anymore for all the internal challenges, whatever that may be. Because all the numbers of followers and the money in the bank account didn't mean anything to him if he didn't have his own unconditional love. Didn't matter how many people thought he had the best life in the world, the same as Kate Spade, the same as Robbie Williams, the same as Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain. Didn't matter how rich they were, that they had zillions of followers. That number is nothing unless you have your own unconditional love. And you have no value in the world unless you value yourself. Because if those numbers were a reflection of a person's awesomeness, they should still be here, shouldn't they? And they should be living the dream life. But they couldn't, because they had their own demons to fight. And this world is making us think that if we have those numbers, then everything will be sorted, and we will be attended to quickly and appreciated more too if we have numbers and we have more value than someone else. But that's, again, crap. Because you're amazing, not because the number of people you have on your Facebook or Instagram or followers or YouTube. You're amazing because you exist in this world, and because in your lifetime you have changed someone's life by a kind word, a smile, a touch, something. You may not even know it, but you have made a difference in this world by existing, and it wasn't because of a number or a value. And all of the haters that are going on, everyone has them, but no one talks up about them. But unless we talk about it, shame will always prevail and always control us, and so will the set limiting beliefs of society. You see, a person isn't awesome or porn or not porn because of the clothes they wear. That's a society stigma. We've decided that on social media we can classify you as porn if you don't have enough clothing on that we think is decent, or you're not a good yogi or a mother, or you're atrocious by the clothes you wear. Makes no sense, because serial killers wear clothes and they've killed zillions of people, and some people don't even know that it happened until they finally got caught, and some of them were friends with these people. Yet it's interesting, isn't it? Because they weren't told they were inappropriate or anything until they got caught. But they did terrible behaviors, absolutely inhumane things, killing people they didn't even know just for the pure drive that they had inside of their psychological issues. And then there's a person on social media that might not wear many clothes, or they might wear a abaya, and they're considered porn, or they're considered a terrorist. In what world have we come to? What has the human society come to? It's absolutely scary. In France, women can't wear their abaya swimsuit, which looks like a wetsuit, a weddy we say in Australia. It's banned, but we can wear a wetsuit. It makes no sense at all when they look like the same thing. But you can't as a woman in France in some areas, because it comes under the stigma as terrorist. People can not wear their abaya faces, and other people can walk around in masks all day, like fancy dress masks. But you can see their faces and they take it off for security systems. And I've lived in Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi Arabia, where I lived, there was like 200 kids in Syria killed by these, what we call ISIS people, under the age of 12. It never got reported when I lived there in 2015, I think. And the people that I knew, they were all scared of these people, just like we are. And they weren't, most of them, they were just a few small percentages that had read the Quran and decided that their belief of the Quran was this. Because we can all read the Bible and the Quran and we can make up our own stories. And we can all make it into a positive and negative stories depending on how we interpret it. So a few select people in the Islamic world who read the Quran have decided to make it of a negative experience where they are martyrs and they have to do this, this and this to avenge what they need in their beliefs in the Quran. But most of the majority believe in doing good. But we as a society have decided to judge on the small minority that have done so much pain and suffering. Because there's so much stigmas even in a Bible or a Quran by the way in which we judge or we create stories. And that's where it all starts, how we create stories in our head about others and the people in the world, and the stories that we read in the Bible and the Quran, and the things that we believe in, and the education that we're given, whether told via history or told via our ancestors. You see, at the end of the day, the only superpower in this world that will change everything is unconditional love. Love is the way. And love doesn't look like you have to be chummy and the best friends with everyone. Love looks like understanding whom you are and being your truth, no matter what society and stigmas say. Understanding that the negativity that people give in this world, understanding that this negativity, you have the choice to respond to and attach to. And the way in which you respond and attach to is how this will challenge you. If you attach to the negativity and become it, then of course it's going to be part of your life. But if you don't attach to it and you let it be, it doesn't become part of your life. You see, we don't understand that love doesn't say, and forgiveness doesn't say, it's okay that you hurt other people. No, it doesn't. It says, forgiveness says, okay, I've been hurt badly, or they have hurt others badly. I no longer wish to hold this terror and fear in my life. So I'm letting them go so I can focus on all the good and the possibilities and the things I can do. Love says, I love myself enough to walk away from this painful situation. I love myself enough not to let any of this pain and suffering happen to me again. I love myself enough to know that my depression is not who I am, and I'm going to get help and I'm going to work on myself, whether it's by help from a doctor or by telling others how you feel. And love understands that the people who receive this information won't shame you, won't say that you're not enough. Love understands that if someone's in a black hole and hurting, that they need to hurt because we have these emotions for a reason. And they are not a person that is making a fuss or too sensitive. They are a person going through the process of being human. And we never deserve to shame how another person feels. Love understands that when we hear someone else's story. Love understands that on social media, when we find an account that doesn't resonate with us, it doesn't mean that they're a horrible person. It just means that they're not for us, because not everyone is going to resonate with everybody. There's over 7 billion different people in the world. Why do we want to spend our lives hating on just one person? Why do we want to spend our lives condemning and criticizing another? What does it achieve for us? Does it lift our life up? Does it help us get closer to our dreams? Are we acting in a responsible manner where we aren't returning hatred that we've received? Are we spending our time doing things we love when we're spending our time hating on others, complaining and making excuses and regrets? No, none of that is beneficial at all. Love understands that we all make mistakes, we all fail, we all fall down. Love understands almost that when you see a little baby walk and they fall down and they stand up, they didn't fail and not fail. They just walked, they fell down, they stood up. But we are taught later in life that when we fall down, it's a failure. It's not, it's a lesson. It's a gift, it's an awareness builder, it's an enlightenment. Love understands that. Love understands that sometimes our head makes stories from other set limiting beliefs that we've been educated about. And we need to be open-minded that as soon as we judge another person, it's actually our ego talking, because it's hiding from the healing work that we have to do. And that's where we really need to understand all those comments, all those judgments we see and hear and receive and even give is about work that we need to do as humans to heal. And if we judge another off someone else's comments, it means we're suffering inside. We go around this world and we say that yoga's not this. Yoga teaches non-judgment. And that's the way life should always be lived, not just for yoga. Yoga's not a yoga pose where you're doing a handstand. Yoga's not advanced yoga if you can do more than someone else and someone can't do like a proper pose. In flexibility terms or strength, they maybe do knees, chaturanga, or downward dog with bent legs. It doesn't mean the person with chaturanga straight legs and downward dog straight legs is more advanced. It actually doesn't mean any of that by the physical. It doesn't mean that they are a porn star if they're doing yoga naked either. What is yoga is your breath and your mindfulness and the way in which you choose to connect to that. It's about time we understood that social media is feeding the untruths. And we are feeding it by the way in which we choose to respond, the way in which we choose to comment, the way in which we choose to follow people, the way in which we choose to judge and criticize, the way in which we continually give away our power. You see, we all have an availability to be here, and we all have an availability to choose how to be here. And we all have ability to be a loving person. And that could mean an unfollow or follow. That could mean no comment instead of commenting harshly. That could mean realizing that our judgment, we need to go and heal, and we need to find out why we're hurting inside, or why we want to be mean when we talk about someone else. That could mean understanding that different cultures, like in Germany and in Finland and in Switzerland and in Austria, they go to saunas naked with lots and lots of people do it, with 20, 30 people. I've done it too. But no one's a porn star in that sauna, they're just doing a sauna experience. And that in Saudi Arabia, they would never do that. They don't even, at the moment, mix. When you go to dinner, you have your family section with families or women, and then you have your singles with the men. But neither's not wrong or right, it's just life experiences, and we need to accept both. We need to really understand that life is full of different values, extremes, experiences, opinions, and ways in which we can operate, and learnings, and open-mindedness and closed-mindedness, and labels and definitions. But it doesn't mean that we have to say that one is wrong and one is right. What it means is we need to find our tribe of people that resonate with us and our lifestyle. You never have to go naked or believe in the naked society, but you don't need to punish them and call them a porn society. You can just go with the society of people that resonate with you. You never have to feel inappropriate if you're someone that likes the naked society. You're not a nudist, you're just a human having experience. We are not human clothed and unclothed. We are just humans showing up in our human form. We are not having a shower naked and a non-naked shower, we're just having a shower. And the sooner we realize that all these judgments from the outside, whether we can tell if you're a good mom or dad, whether we can tell if you have value, the numbers that we see, whether we'll be happy when we put on a bit of weight or lose a bit of weight or we get a six-pack, it's all irrelevant. Because the only way we will all be happier is by practicing unconditional love. And that means we start with us. Every time we want to judge, we check in, see where our ego's at, why it's deflecting. Because half the time we judge on people we don't even know their story. And we say, hey, what can I do to stop this judgment? Is it that I need to unfollow this person? Is it I need to say goodbye to these people because that's saying love to me, I can know they don't work for me? Is it saying, oh, I didn't realize the world was like that, it's different, okay, I'm not used to it, let me get accustomed to it and understand it a bit better, and let me not put a label on it? Is it that you need to understand that when someone else says something negative to you and it hurts you, that you don't have to let it hurt you, you can let it go and understand that you are more valuable than their opinions and you are not their opinions? Is it that you simply just need to work on yourself rather than looking for answers outside to find how you'll be enough if you change your body, if you change who you are, if you follow the right people, if you get more money and realize that everything you are right now is worthy enough? Is it that you begin to realize that social media doesn't mean that someone is awesome or not, or has their life together because of a number? They're just a human struggling as well with issues maybe they don't talk about and you don't see, but we all have them. We all have mental challenges. We all have family issues, life issues. Just some of us, we will never know what other people are going through because you can't see it unless you talk to them or hear about it. So the thing we all need to do in this world is called more practice of unconditional love, and realize that when we do this, everything falls into place. Nothing will be perfect, but we'll be able to suffer really well. These are all the challenges. And we'll be able to not let people hinder us, set limiting beliefs, F us over, judgments, or create judgments that hurt others. We'll just work on keeping on healing and doing our best. And when we fall down and we might hurt someone, we'll be humble enough to say sorry. So remember, no matter whom you are, where you are, what you look like, the words you've received, the life you've lived, you are valuable not because of anything other than you are here. And you are beautiful and worthy enough. But it starts with you to be the change you want to be in the world, and start with unconditional love for you, working on you. Nothing outside of you will ever make your life wholesome. except for working on you, starting with unconditional love. As you are awesome. Namaste.